my senior project presentation. Alright, so I had kind of two different parts to my my project. So I had a coding kind of section. It was an astrophysics coding like a program. It's called Athena++. I'm just going to call it Athena, by the way, because saying Athena++ every single time is too much. So I did that alongside, I joined the SVAS, the Sacramento Valley Astronomical Society. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a club. They do different things like general meetings, star parties. They have like a barbecue kind of thing, a star barbecue, whatever. But that's over the summer, so I wasn't able to do that sadly. But so they look at the stars. They just they have like a kind of like a group chat too, where they talk a lot. The amount, it's crazy. They have like nothing better to do than. But it's all fun. It's all fun though. There's a lot of talking they do. All right. So why did I select these as my project? So one, I was interested in physics, and then I started doing some research. In the research phase, I was looking at the different kinds of physics, what I want to do, and that's when I saw astrophysics, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I did some more research, and then I decided to do a project on that. And then I also had a background in coding, because I did some college classes and I did some coding with that. So Athena was kind of perfect. It was a mix of astrophysics and coding. And computer science was also another kind of path that I was considering. So it kind of like a 3-in-1 blend, which was perfect. I found astronomy pretty cool as well, which is kind of why I joined the Astronomical Society and just how helpful it was. I mean, looking at the stars is pretty cool. I think the night sky looks pretty and everything, so why not? And then, so I found Athena through an astrophysicist himself. One of Mr. Cho's friends, I was emailing him, and he helped me a lot through this. I could not have done it without him, or what I've done, and I did. So it's kind of like the perfect project. I'm really happy. And they both seem like good opportunities. Athena, if I was continue to pursue astrophysics, getting experience in Athena is pretty important because it's so widely used. So yeah.
Quick question: if you're going to later find, but if not, maybe just a quick note about what Athena is or what it does.
Yeah, I can do that. So Athena is kind of it's a fluid fluid physics. It kind of deals with input data and graphs and stuff, and shows like models and stuff. It's really interesting. It's a lot of programming too. Like they have a lot of files about different kind of scenarios and stuff, and so you can kind of like change stuff. Gravity, radiation. You can kind of. I have one graph later, I think, just showing like one thing, and it just kind of deals with input data. It is a program, so you have to do some coding. It's mainly used in like Linux and OS systems. I've used Windows to help with my advisor, but it did not go as planned, which I'll tell you guys later because it was yeah. I'm gonna buy that. So what did I accomplish? So one, I became familiar with Athena coding. It did not go well as planned. So through help with my mentor, I have a Windows computer, so I decided to use that. It did not go so well. My mentor, he advised, he told me what to use. It was something called like Sig164. It's supposed to run like Linux commands on Windows, but for some reason it just was not working at all, basically on my Windows. And I spent a lot of time trying to fix it. It didn't end up fully working, but I borrowed a computer from Mr. French with a Linux operating system. It worked a lot better, and I was able to figure out that you gotta use the proper stuff. Windows, it was a good substitute, but it just never didn't end up working. Anyways, with the SVAS, the Sacramento the Astronomical Society, so I attended their general meetings and their monthly star parties. So their general meetings actually really interesting. They brought like guest speakers in from like a professor from UC Davis, and Professor UC Davis and someone else that I can't really remember. But they talked about different issues, which I'll actually get to because I found them amazing. And then the monthly star parties, that's just kind of where everyone comes out to a winter, it's called the winter site, and everyone brings, if they have telescopes, they bring them, and everyone just looks at the stars. Sadly, they didn't always go as planned because of weather, because it has to be a clear sky, and if it wasn't, they cancel them. And the one that I was able to get to where it didn't get canceled, the guy's battery died really quickly for his telescope. But I was still able to look, and it was fascinating. I also used their group chat because they post a lot. So I just read through some of the articles and documents and videos that they recommended, and they were talking about and discussing. So yeah, what did I learn? So this is kind of you input data and then you can make charts like this. So this is from the website itself. So I learned how to code, and I learned not to give up because I thought Athena was going to be pretty simple. I thought it was going to be maybe 10 hours. It was not. It was a lot more. It was a lot of research, a lot of time into it. Yeah, and so I learned how to research more efficiently because I would spend hours just going from one website to another because they would recommend the next website, and I would go to the website and they would say, well, you got to do this, and it got very confusing very fast. So I got better at organizing and figuring out what to not pay attention to. Another thing is I learned the difficulty of just how hard it is to coding, especially with no mentor. So I started off thinking it'd be easy and stuff, and I didn't contact the astrophysicist dude who recommended this thing. It didn't go so well. I was only through his help and his continuous, which I'm so thankful to, only because of his help through emails and stuff as we were emailing each other, was I able to even get as far as I did. I also learned more about the stars and issues in the theory of evolution, which I'll actually get to in this next slide. Okay, so a little background. So the James Webb Telescope, they talked about this, which kind of led to the other meeting. So the James Webb Telescope is a new telescope that was kind of launched more recently that looks at a different infrared spectrum, yeah. And it can look. So this is the Hubble telescope with a lot of cosmic dust. The James Webb was able to look through all that and get a lot clearer pictures. It was also the James Webb Telescope itself is it's a marvel because it's 170 inches longer, which is immensely impressive, but only half the weight. And one thing I remember reading about satellites is that they dropped a satellite recently by accident when they were building one, and it cost $140 million just to repair it, just because someone forgot to put 24 bolts in. That's it. And it cost $140 million. Expensive. The other thing about the James Webb is people claim that it found life, which it kind of did. It found a gas that's only possible with life around, basically. And but evolutionists try to say that the James Webb found life. There's a life on other planets, which there could be. But anyway, it's a lot better. But the main purpose, which was interesting, this is a lot of words. I'll explain it. The James Webb Telescope, basically, there's an issue with the theory of evolution, with the expansion of the universe. Astrophysicists and stuff use Mercury's position and its change of position to find, just to figure out the rate of expansion of the universe. But then they also used supernovas and the Cepheid stuff to find another rate of expansion of the universe, and they don't mix at all. So basically, two very popular and also they both are reliable ways to measure the expansion of the universe, and they don't work together at all. They're complete. They don't mix. So there's just kind of issue in evolutionists that the professor was like, well, we don't understand physics enough, and that's just why we don't know what's going on. So it was just kind of interesting. Another thing, which as a Christian, I found this very interesting because an atheist put it, is he said there are two gifts in nature: the solar system, which is unusually simple and regular, it's observable, calculable, phenomenologically rich, and the primordial plasma. So as a Christian, I saw this and I said, oh, that's kind of God, This is God. Everything is perfect for life, and all of these things. And so, it was just kind of interesting, seeing that as evolutionists saying, oh, look at this gift of nature. But anyway. So how did this project benefit me? So it just kind of showed me how hard astrophysics was. I mean, I knew it was hard because it's a physics. Like it's it's physics. But just doing a little bit, just a tiny bit, I still had so much difficulty. Also, it helped me. It gave me some preparation with using Athena, which if I want to pursue using going down astrophysics, like an astrophysicist, that's what I'm going to need to know. It's very useful. Also, it helped me consider my career paths again. It made me rethink, do I really want to be an astrophysicist, with all this work? And it kind of helped just thinking, okay, do I still want to be a physicist? If I do, how much I need to dedicate my time and stuff. Because another thing is just reading through all the documents and stuff. I did some more research, and that's what a lot of if you want to get like a PhD or something, that's a lot of your time. Is just reading articles, reviewing them, peer reviewing, and then sending them back, and then making documents and stuff, and that's it. So also it gave me some really interesting knowledge about just how the universe is created, or how they claim it's created, but how it fits more under like a creationist point of view. But yeah, that's it. My plan right now is yes, as hard as it is.
Yeah, what was the craziest, coolest thing you learned while you were doing this project?
The craziest, coolest thing?
Yeah.
I think it's probably the rate of the expansion of the universe, just how, because they each have a margin of error of okay, it's like 71.04 plus 1.5. Plus or minus. So there's a range, and they both just don't overmix at all, which is just such a huge issue for evolutionists. And it was just really interesting how the only thing they could say was, we just don't understand.
Are you still in the group chat?
I am. Yeah. I'm gonna, yeah.
What's your sign?
Huh?
What's your sign?
I think it's a sign. Yes.
Are you a Scorpio?
I'm an Aries.
Oh, I think we're compatible.
We are.
I assume at the star parties you did get to look at a variety of things with telescopes.
Somewhat, yeah. It was
Do you have a favorite planets, moons, nebulas, galaxies, stars?
Not really. I mean, there was just I also was able, because the group chat, the eclipse happened obviously recently, and there's a lot of pictures. They got some really nice pictures of it. They got a solar lens and everything. I think anything I've seen, and they got really good clear pictures of Jupiter, and they got some really nice pictures. Any other questions?
How long did your project take?
The SVAS, the Astronomical Society, that was only about 10 to 11 hours, but the coding was probably around 30 to 35.
That's rough.
Yeah, which actually isn't too surprising, just because coding is usually, if you can't figure it out, it gets long fast.
Like 45 is total as well.
Yeah, 45.
Around how many messages did you get a day on the group chat?
You probably sent more. Yeah, usually when I would go home, there'd be 18, but they would usually be individual little I don't know what you call them, different sub threads and everything. So they, and I did not look through them, but I just kept saying this, Brian Smith. I just that's the only dude I keep seeing. He keeps talking. I believe most of them are, just because when we had the meeting about, there was a general meeting, and when we had a meeting about the evolutionary stuff, most of them were talking about evolutionists. But there might be some creationists, maybe.
Sorry, just a quick question. Did you get homework after the meeting?
Homework?
Yeah, homework after.
No, they don't assign
You
homework.
kind of showed up.
Huh?
You showed up and.
I showed up. I took notes and stuff, which was I took